Bonjour, I'm Antoine. Today on L'INTERVIEW, Christie Bennett, Managing Director at JRT, a commercial real estate. Let's go meet her. Christie! Hi!
Hello!
How are you? Good to see you. Yes, Norman, you want to say hello?
Hi, little babies.
All right, okay, so let's dive in. Christie, so tell us, who you are, where you're from, and how long you've been living in New York City?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Tampa, Florida.
Okay.
Technically born here in Portchester, New York, but I grew up down in Tampa. I've lived in the city for about 9 years. I moved here right after college.
Okay.
And then I did a little stint back in Tampa for 2 years.
Oops.
I liked it. I thought it's where I wanted to be. It wasn't. I missed the city, and now I've been back for another 2 years.
Okay, that's great. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Why don't we go to the park?
Okay, perfect.
So, Christie, you're managing director at JRT. Okay, it's the largest commercial real estate woman-owned in the U.S. And how does that make you feel?
Yeah, so I've been at JRT now about 6 months. And I just started there in August. It was an exciting jump for me. I've been at a lot of the larger firms. I've worked at Newmark, Cushman, CBRE. I wasn't really, I wasn't really looking for a change necessarily until I met the CEO, Jody Police.
Yes.
And I had a Zoom call with her and kind of knew that it's the place I wanted to be.
Yes.
There's a huge focus on making sure women and underrepresented people get a seat at the table.
Oh, okay.
And so it's really a mission I can get behind. It's not just doing office leasing for the sake of office leasing. It's really trying to make sure, people get represented.
Okay, so so that goes back to my next question. So my question was, trying to find out if working for JRT, because it's really the largest firm, for women-owned business, was it part of your professional career path, or is that something that you say, well, I would love to work for a woman?
Yeah, so I've been really blessed to have a lot of great women kind of be role models for me. My mom's in the industry as well.
Oh, okay. Oh,
my mom works for JLL down in Tampa.
Okay.
So for me, she was kind of my first, view into the world. I didn't really know what it was, but was helping her with like PowerPoint presentations and stuff when I was in middle school.
Oh, wow.
So it was nice to have her kind of show me the ropes a little bit. And then when I moved up here, my first senior partner, a woman named Robin Fisher at Newmark, is still one of my best friends to this day. She actually introduced me to Jody.
Oh, okay.
So there's not a lot of women in the field, and so for me, that was a big selling point for joining this group, because it's been around. JRT's been doing this 25 years. It's not something new.
Yes.
Jody's been a champion of women for such a long time. So.
Okay, great. So my next question is that we all know that real estate in general is still a man-dominating industry. How does that play out in commercial real estate? Does like chauvinism, patriarchy, is part of it? It exists, or is that less predominant, I should say?
No, it does. Listen, I think even in my almost 15 years in the industry now, it's gotten a lot better. There's been a lot of progress, but there's still a really long way to go.
There's still a
there
long way to
just
go?
is.
Okay,
Overall, not even just representation. That is, again, getting a little better.
Yes.
We're seeing some women join, but yeah, to me, it's surrounding yourself with people that you don't hate.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's important in life. You've graduated with a minor in real estate, correct? Yeah.
Yep.
So has it always been like a goal of yours to work in real estate? I mean, I know you just talked, about helping your mother doing the slides. But I wanted to know, what has always attracted you about it, or still attracts you?
Yeah,
in
so
real estate?
like I said, I knew I wanted to do it for a really long time. For
Yeah.
me, I never really thought I would leave Florida. I went to University of Florida. I thought I'd be in Tampa forever. And then once I graduated and realized that this is what I wanted to do, I figured if I'm going to try this industry that's very difficult to get into and hard to stay in,
Yeah.
why don't I try it in the hardest place? So,
That's right. If you can make it here, you can make it
Yeah,
anywhere. Remember that?
yeah, I mean, I graduated in May and I moved up here that August in the
Oh,
fall.
wow.
I had a bunch of interviews and ended up in kind of a training program to be a tenant rep broker at Newmark. And so the first person who interviewed me was that woman Robin, who I spoke about earlier.
Yeah,
and as soon as I met her, I was like, okay, that's it. Like I'm working with her.
Where do I
That's
sign?
that's my life. So it was a year training program, and then after that, I was thrown to the wolves in the brokerage world.
Yes. Okay. Christie, let's get a little bit more personal, if I may say. What skill have you developed in your career that you didn't have at all, and that you had to learn to, to grow inside of you?
Yeah, so I would say patience.
Okay.
So I'm half Cuban, half Italian. So the patience meter is pretty low.
Like a very thin thread.
It is very thin. So it's taken a lot to learn to take a breath, take a step back, and not yell. Something I'm still working on to this day, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
everyone in
Good
the
to know.
office makes fun of me because whenever I'm on a phone call, you can just find me pacing in circles around the conference room, like there's a track mark from me. And they're like, Christie, you're always in there yelling. I was like, well, half the time I'm on mute because, I can't yell too much at people. But I'd say patience is probably something that is always an active thing to be working on.
Okay. And but we know it's we said Norman. Thank you. We know it's we said it's a male-dominating industry. So are you kind of different at work versus when you're at home? This is this is who you are, and you get what you get, whatever it is.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say there's really that much of a difference for me.
No?
I've kind of, like I said, I really grew up around the industry because of my mom.
Yeah.
So it's not something that I turn on and off when I go home. I am kind of, who I am, I guess. Sounds like Popeye. But yeah, no, it's, thankfully I've surrounded myself with great women, and then the guys, that comes naturally to me. I mean, I'm more of, I'm in fantasy football leagues and all that fun stuff, so I can talk the lingo.
If that can help, guys.
Yeah. If anyone needs help, I got second in my league this year.
Okay, cool. So what have you learned from the commercial real estate industry?
So I mean, I guess a lot of different things. So one that's kind of been a new skill that's been developing again in the last few years is really managing people around the country.
Okay.
So my big focus, not only at JRT, but in my last two roles, was national work. So kind of working with clients that have a large portfolio all around the Americas. So I'm the point person, we deal with the strategy, but I have to rely on the local people to really know the markets, teach me the markets, and kind of work through the deal transaction. So it's been interesting to manage people all over.
Yeah. And what would you say to a young woman who wants to succeed in the real estate commercial part of it?
Yeah, so I would say start young, and don't be afraid to start young.
Okay.
Because it's hard to get your footing, especially when you're starting, in a new city, if that's what you're doing.
A question.
Yes.
You're from Tampa, or I should say you were from Tampa because you've been now 9 years in New York. You're a New Yorker. How would you describe us, New Yorkers?
Well, I would say New Yorkers are my people. That's why I came back up here. I love.
How would you describe us?
Loud.
Loud?
Loud.
Ready?
I'll go loud. That's why I fit in.
Okay. You know what? Why don't we sit down a little bit? Huh? Norman is too agitated right now. have there been any instances where you felt like that you were treated differently because you were a woman when you were at the table?
I mean,
I'm always
yes.
curious about that. Yes, yeah.
Yes, but it's about how you react to it.
Yeah.
To me, it's, again, not really in the moment reacting, taking a step back and reassessing how to handle it moving forward.
Yeah.
I've had a few times where I was kind of brought into a deal to be the woman on the team, and then that was it. And we're not really talked to again, and it's like, oh, we had you there, don't worry about it. Like, no, if I'm a part of this, I want to be a part of this.
Exactly.
And I'm on the team, and I can add a lot of value. So
Yeah. Now this brings me to my next question then. If there were only one quality commercial real estate agent must have, what would it be?
Ooh, well, I mean, negotiation skills, I feel
Yes,
like.
okay. All right,
I mean, that's the one quality your clients would want you to have if they're going to hire you, right?
Yeah.
The ability to negotiate for them.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. So, have you, probably in your younger years, have you lost a deal that you still regret of not getting? And what would you have done differently, knowing what you know now?
Yeah, so I mean, throughout the years, yes, but I think one that sticks in my mind the most is kind of my first one ever.
Oh, wow.
When I started in my year-long training program, my last 3 months were just cold calling. And when we would get a meeting, they would send us out with one of the senior brokers who's looking for a junior.
Yeah.
So I had a meeting that I thought was great. Their lease was coming up in 12 months. They pretty much just wanted to renew in the space, like should have been a slam dunk.
Yeah.
And the team that I got sent with, I was young at the time, and they had me put together this insane presentation, and the whole first half of it was about them and what they did and all this, like, just not my style.
Okay.
And didn't even ask the person a single question about themselves until about 25 minutes in. So for me, they didn't call me back after the meeting, let's be clear, on something that should have been a slam dunk. And it's something that taught me, like, okay, they're great brokers, they have an amazing resume, but that's not my style and not who I want to work with every day.
Well, you learned something out of, out of it, I'm sure.
I did. I learned that that's not how I like to present.
So, how do you handle leasing clients that have their expectations are not really anchored in reality? Let's put it this way.
Well, that's I feel like that's most clients.
Oh, really? Sounds like residential to me too.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't do residential. That's even more emotional. But it's again with the patience, just showing them kind of what your reality is, understanding that they feel the way they do, and it may not be the right way to feel, but acknowledging their feelings about it and then showing facts is kind of how I think you ground them a little bit.
Yes, it's all about the education.
Yeah.
All right, and I always say that that I've had few women on the show already, who said that younger professionals behave the same way as if they were dealing with men. Seems that it's always the old guard that wants to make feel women not very welcome. Is that a fair assumption, or is that something that I'm just making it up right now?
No, I mean, it's definitely more from the older generations, kind of letting that linger. And again, there's been a lot of progress. I think the younger people, because of where we are in today's society, they don't really show that difference.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of finding the ones who support you.
Yeah.
And then if someone does do something that's not okay, and not even that, just in general, like doesn't treat you the right way in the business sense. Yeah. Finding people to support you and making that change. I know, like, my mom literally last week called me with someone that they let go in her office because they weren't treating women correctly. And just, talking down to them in meetings, and, they went about the right channels and they made a change. So it was exciting for them to see, the company, a huge company, actually step up and let them speak and listen to them and supported them.
Okay, my last question. Don't cheat.
I know, I'm trying to read it. What is the question?
If you were a tool or an object to help you perform in your work better, what would you be?
Help me perform. I think my not biggest struggle right now, but for me, some type of just more marketing for JRT. I think a lot of companies don't know that women and minority-owned commercial real estate firms exist.
Yes.
I think that's been the biggest thing, is educating people on who we
what
are.
kind of tool will you be?
I guess some kind of, I mean, those exist, right? The mass marketing ones, but something that someone actually reads. Not just another flyer that says like, hey, we're JRT. I don't know, maybe we need commercials,
okay,
whatever
so
it
how
is.
do we translate that? Should we say like you'll be a software marketing?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah?
Some tool that again, one that people read. I feel like everyone gets so many mass emails that you don't actually look at, or I mean, I know some people do, but okay. I think something to that effect.
All right, okay, I guess, software marketing it is. Boom.
JRT exists. There are women-owned commercial real estate firms.
That's it, folks. That was Christie Bennett, Managing Director for JRT. So please, if you're looking for a space, contact Christie. She will do it with skill and grace. Okay? So please comment, share, like. But in the meantime,
it's selfie time.
It's selfie time. She said better than I. Okay, let's do that. You ready?
Ready. Norman, you ready?
Yeah, Norman, you ready? Yeah, I think he is. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ah!